guys, it's Trizila with our second cup of Joe with Joe. I do hope you're surviving the stay-at-home orders and your family is healthy and well. While it has been challenging to say the least, we are all doing what we can to help flatten the curve of this pandemic. One thing that has brought me so much joy during this time is seeing the creativity, ingenuity, and innovation that is sparking from all of us being at home. I have had a couple of Zoom happy hours with friends and colleagues I haven't seen in years. I participated in a few online webinars and courses that became available because the brand's brick and mortar stores temporarily closed, like yoga class and even a master chef class. While these brands don't have anything to sell right now, they're ensuring that they are engaging with their customers and their prospects and continue to be top of mind. I've had a few Zoom coffees with new LinkedIn contacts, and my daughter and I have even had a few FaceTime dinners with my parents. My favorite, though, is the creative ways we are celebrating neighborhood children's birthdays. We decorate our cars with balloons and streamers and create a mini car drive-by parade, honking and waving in front of the child's house to make them feel special. I love how we are finding ways to still connect even while social distancing. These are the things I hope we remember. The other parts, not so much. For this week's Cup of Joe with Joe topic, I was asked by a few people to talk about the reasons why brands discontinue their PR efforts when challenging times hit, like the one we're in right now. Yes, it's true, there are many brands who are reducing their marketing and communications budgets, but yet there's a lot that aren't. So why do some brands keep PR and even add to their budgets while some brands don't? First off, I get it. For brands scrambling to make payroll, it's hard to justify a PR marketing budget right now. I know in Dallas, our food service industry has been hit really hard. For the sake of this discussion, let's assume we're talking about brands who have been moderately impacted by COVID-19, which would be probably every single brand. Some of us have been impacted positively, and some of us have been impacted negatively. Right now, we are all experiencing a wide range of emotions. Like me, you probably have significant concerns about what the landscape will look like in the next month, next quarter, next year. I get it. I get what it's like to be in a bit of a panic mode because nothing causes panic more than uncertainty. Take a deep breath, and before you make any drastic changes, sleep on it. Nothing good comes from being reactionary, especially with a business. Remember, often some of the changes that you enact as a short-term solution can have a long-lasting impact on your brand. Right now, communications is so incredibly important, probably more important today than ever before. I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but it's true. Think about it. Never before have we had more available channels to talk with our customers, prospects, employees, and stakeholders. And never before have we had a crisis affect every single American, and never before have we had mandatory stay-in-place orders, and never before have we had the majority of the U.S. workforce working from home, and on and on and on. So yes, communication is more important today than any other time in our history. So if that's the case, why would a brand cut their public relations spend? The Public Relations Society of America defines public relations as a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. Whoa, that's a whole lot of words, but what does it mean? At TrizCom PR, we have a much simpler definition of PR. Public relations is the way your brand communicates your messages with the people in your target audience, inspiring them to take the action you want. The major difference between the two definitions is inspiring your audiences to take the action that you want them to take, which almost always circles back to revenue, somehow, some way. Oh my gosh, a PR professional said it, and I said it. Public relations can and does affect revenue, and you can prove it if it's measured correctly. PR does in fact have a measurable ROI, and here is the holy grail. When public relations is viewed as an investment and not as an expenditure, a totally different mindset happens. PR is valued more. PR is not a box getting checked. So how does it all work? Well, let's review the communications plan structure for an example. So you have an overall goal, right? Then you have a few objectives that are measurable and within a particular time frame. Under each objective, you're going to have strategies or pathways to achieve your objective. And then underneath each strategy, you're going to have a bucket load of tactics or means for implementing your strategies to achieve your objectives. Oftentimes, brands hire PR agencies based on tactics alone, such as press releases, media placements, social media, byline articles, events, interviews, and on and on. Those are tactics, and I get why brands like these. They're fun, they're tangible. These are the most requested items from C-suite executives. Tactics can easily be put on a to-do sheet or crossed off or box checked. You would be surprised, or maybe not so surprised, how many times we are asked for proposals for how many press releases are we going to do, how many media placements are we going to get. This is where PR comes into hot water, unable to show the ROI. Tactics without strategy is kind of like throwing spaghetti onto a wall hoping a few pieces will stick. How do you measure one-offs? I can't tell you how many times I have heard over the years, yeah, we tried that press release thing once and it didn't work, or we tried social media and it didn't work. Well, of course it didn't work all on its own. It's got to be integrated. Brands who hire their agencies and only get tactics view PR as an expense and most likely have a vendor-client relationship. Vendors can easily be cut from budgets. And even more, expenses that don't contribute to sales are easily cut from budgets. So how do you create a solid ROI for PR? I am going to let you in on a TrizCom trade secret. It's not revolutionary. It's not rocket science. In fact, it's super, super simple. But it's changed the way TrizCom does PR. When a new partner tells us they want a press release or they want internal communications or whatever the tactic may be, we ask one question over and over. Are you ready? Hang on, I'm about to blow your socks off. The one question that we persistently ask and must have an answer to is, why? Why? I told you I was going to knock your socks off. Yep, why? Why do you need press releases? Why do you need media placements? Why do you need social media? Why do you want to be in Forbes or in the New York Times? And trust me, sometimes the answer to the why questions aren't that obvious. It can be a bit of a process with a partner. But when we have the why questions answered, we identify not only the goal most of the time, but also measurement. For example, a potential partner might say they need press releases. They may be saying press releases because that's all they think PR does. But when we push back and get to the why, it gets interesting. The why do you need a press release conversation might start off with, because no one knows about us. We're the best kept secret. And then we ask, who needs to know about you? Once they know about you, what do you want them to do? How will this make you more money? And on and on and on. So as you can see, what started off as a press release request might end up being an overarching objective to increase qualified leads. Then we will dig a little bit deeper to find out the metric. How much more do they need to increase their lead funnel, and by when? Now we have a clear business problem that PR can solve and can begin to put some measurement and metrics behind it. While a press release might be a tactic used, it's just one itty-bitty piece. Now TrizCom is seen as a partner, not a vendor. Years ago, I would have laughed at you if you had said that the goal in PR is to impact sales. I would have told you to go buy some advertising. However, like Bob Dylan's song goes, the times they are a-changing. I was reading more and more and more about data that was available and how it was used to measure PR. I was hesitant at first because forever and a day, us PR folks were only responsible for awareness and consideration. It was pretty cushy. At the end of the year, we would put all of the press clippings into a binder. We would drop it on the floor or a desk to measure our success by the level of noise the thump made. I swear to you, I am not making this up. We never asked ourselves or were asked by our partners, how much website did those media placements generate? Did that quarter's content increase the website domain authority? Or what about keywords? Did our efforts raise the keyword rankings? What about referrals or social media shares or lead generation? Nope, never. Because our job was only to increase awareness and consideration, which was intentionally vague and hard to measure. At TrizCom, we're driven by our desire to be the best partner to our brands and the best stewards of their marketing dollars. And with that in mind, TrizCom began to change. We had to change. And it wasn't easy, trust me, but it was important. We invested in ridiculously expensive software, and I mean seriously ridiculously expensive. We became proficient in Google Analytics. We learned about Moz and domain authority. We know just how many people are in a trade magazine byline placement sent to our partners' websites and how long they stayed on the site. We can tell you how many people signed up for a webinar. We know how many leads were generated from that downloadable ebook. I can tell you how many social media shares the television interview generated, and on and on. It's all about metrics, data, which is so ironic because math probably was my biggest struggle of all through school. I seriously think my accounting professor in my MBA program retired after teaching me. Slowly, we began to create our new identity as a data-driven brand. We expect our partners to hold us accountable every single time. But here's the issue. Our agency is a minority. We are only one of a handful that read and monitor data and track performances weekly, if not daily, and track it way back to PR. We hold ourselves accountable to the metrics we established. We do impact sales. And because of this, most of our partners give us a seat at the table when the campaigns are being baked instead of bringing us in at the very end, requesting a press release and some sort of unrealistic goal. I said this earlier, but it's worth repeating. PR should always be viewed as an investment and not as an expense. And agencies need to be recognized as a partner, not a vendor. Now let me ask you a question. If your PR partner is significantly impacting your revenue in a positive way, why would you cut your PR budget, especially during super challenging times when PR could help you significantly? You wouldn't. As you can tell, I get fired up about this. I love the process. It's probably my favorite part of the job, finding solutions to your problems using communications. If this sounds interesting to you, or you just want to talk about some ideas on how PR could help impact your revenue, give me a shout. Let's grab a cup of coffee, or should I say, let's grab a cup of Joe and have a Zoom chat. Until next week, thank you for watching. Please message me with any topics that are interesting to you or that you want to hear talked about. Subscribe to our channel and we'll talk soon.